hello, the FBI and the courts recorded, confessed, demonstrated. A whole bunch of people tied to a Christopher Cullen are involved with people planting evidence on all sides of my case tied to body dumping spots and overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and mayors from Weathersfield, and people pretending passions and emotions and backgrounds when they know this is recorded. The FBI has roles with people making conspiracy theories on Epstein, and when people make fake true things they catch, they pretend people make conspiracy theories. There are a bunch of kids involved with the intelligence agency since they were kids, putting evidences, faking and changing, but hiding what came first too. Increasingly, there are people, investigators are used remotely out intercities, interstates, at countries A through Z. They're only capable of it, and they are confessing and demonstrating things that they don't even realize on a mass scale. Like Connecticut Interbranch has been forging and switching names. The state judicial branch offices and corrections offices have has multiple FBI directors involved with predicate acts with fax methods with them, wire crime acts and methods. WFSB faked conversations with them, and with me, with the other people with them. Their roles with the intelligence at or next to their location too is involved with the courts and prosecutors putting fake things in their databases with sexual and medical offenders. Increasingly, when retired police chiefs from Weathersfield have roles with the same house slash S near me, like a Smith family on Fairlane Drive and a Cologne house on my street, and people that used to live in my area named named D. Simone and O'Connor. They're involved with multiple police departments at the same time, falsifying police reports, refusing to give paper so they could put fake things in databases more and more and have that covered up. They were criminally foreign influence since they were kids, the kids of the interbranch. They have collusions with a principal upskirt nature and ones years before that, and the kids that were involved with that had roles with that other principal upskirt nature. A Michael Kerr and a Jerry Kerr and their father, Jerry Kerr, have roles with the officer Jerry Miller, making confessions about his roles, planting evidences on all sides of my house, and with their roles with drugs and medicines, crimes and kids, and pretending other people have roles with it. In other words, with the judges and prosecutors switching and forging names, their whole families are involved. A bunch of judges tied to people next to Trinity College and next to Central Connecticut State University have their family members involved with people with predicate acts on my street with the police refusing to identify themselves. And they're lying about their motivations. Once they get on paper, I gave them a reason to put bad things on paper, but they don't respond to that. They put anything in paper because I caught them before that. That's why I forced people to call the police without telling them why. And then I caught them putting fake conversations with me to cover it up. And then they set me up 2 times, framed me, changed the fake that was recorded, forced rape threats, and hid that to force me into Harvard Hospital 2 times for 30 days in a row, 2 times, both times, forging names of doctors, covered building on how they've been putting fake things before that. A Leahy family, ones with the name Lombardo, affected confessions on my street. A whole bunch of people involved with them with untimely deaths, and judges and prosecutors and their family members. All little sick fakes at Harvard Hospital. They have lawyer scams there too. More scams with just a few dozen people than there are streets in Hartford and Weathersfield together. There's a big problem here. You're going to get the interbranch on paper, one name in sequence. In other words, we got this Alex Jones. The FBI is forcing him to have the media because they're using crime methods, the FBI, to affect algorithms. In other words, and people's reception by others. A Joshua Schumack and a Joshua Julian have Facebook names involved with the Weathersfield police, with them with sexual and medical offenders, with their families, and people next to their houses involved with this. Increasingly, with the Facebook pages of Weathersfield police and the Britain Superior Court, also involved with these Mendez police, involved with police since they were kids that attached me to fake conversations of being at the police station as a kid and now as an adult too. Then they had to hide that when I caught them with the child abusers and worse. And so they hid that by pretending through the news that I had conversations with them as a kid too. That weren't at all. And the kids who did go down to the police station, they used that to make fake ties, fake natures of ties to me. With Ray Colo increasingly planting evidences with girls tied to him too that I don't know at all. And in other words, they're just hiding lie progressions. and because they're being directed to it. Sometimes they're directed to it by the courts involved with them, sometimes by the military involved with them, sometimes by the police forms involved with them. You gotta get them on paper with name and sequence. And with this Phil Claw, you better get them on paper with the confessions of the Bob Chase and Whiting forensics. There are more people involved then and now with the principal sex offender and with some violence on my street and threats. And they're making threats through the other people. They have a Phil Claw further involved with violence on my street. You're going to get them on paper, one name in sequence, with the police refusing to get on paper, refusing to identify themselves, and with the courts and the state judicial branch office and corrections office. You get them on paper now. Watch what I call them do with the campuses and with a whole bunch of other countries, nations. They're involved fake with culture. You better get them, see what they're doing. Get them on paper right now. Fake branches, fold, fall.